You suddenly wake up with pulling, intense pain in your calf. It jolts you out of sleep and forces you out of bed. Such nighttime experiences, those calf cramps, affect quite a lot of people, but very few know how they happen, why they happen, and most importantly, what can be done about them.
And in this video, we're going to explain how it happens and show you exactly what you can do to prevent it.
When and why do muscles cramp? Our experience shows it's always when the muscles are completely tense. And the muscles cannot do anything else but to just keep contracting because they're unable to manage the situation anymore. And the situation that leads to this is usually excessive tension. And an additional effect that causes it to escalate further is that when the tension rises, then the metabolism is also disrupted, because then there's such a high tension that nothing can flow anymore. And that causes everything to become more and more constricted. And from that, we can already see the first key point. What can you do beforehand, before going to bed, either as a precaution or when it happens during the night? Warmth. Rub your calves, but not just the calves, also the muscles in the front. Just use hot water, comfortably hot, so that you still experience it as soothing. Keep doing this for about 5 to 10 minutes, moving around the lower leg, up to the knee, and down to the foot, and then it usually starts to feel better and dissolves.
Yeah, and of course nutrition also plays a role, because typically you wouldn't experience a cramp otherwise. Why don't you get a cramp? It's because the muscles are adequately and sufficiently supplied with enough magnesium, potassium, and calcium. And of course that can happen either because the muscle is just too tightly pressed together so that the exchange of nutrients can't take place anymore, or because we simply don't have enough of these essential minerals in our body. Meaning magnesium, potassium, and possibly calcium as well. That's why it's absolutely essential you start eating whole, nutrient-rich foods from now on. What does that mean? For example, it means not using refined flour, no white flour, but whole grain flour instead, because that's where the minerals are. You'll also find them in pseudo grains, like quinoa, like buckwheat, like amaranth, but it's also found in a lot of vegetables and in nuts. And that's precisely why a plant-based diet remains the most essential thing to keep the body healthy overall. But with magnesium, just a quick note. If you're thinking, oh yes, magnesium, that might be it, then please don't head to the drugstore or supermarket and simply grab any random product off the shelf. Cheap magnesium. That's usually magnesium oxide. And it's processed because it's just, well, so inexpensive. And that's why it can be sold so cheaply. The dumb thing is just, it doesn't get where it's supposed to go. That's why you can save yourself the trouble. And if you're serious about adding magnesium as a supplement, there are 2 options I can confidently recommend. One option, especially for a more sensitive stomach, is magnesium bisglycinate. And if your digestive system is doing really well, magnesium citrate also works.
And now we're moving straight to tip number 3, stretching. It ties right in with tip number 1. You can start by trying the heat and then add in the stretching. But now, pay attention. Maybe you've experienced it yourself. I've had patients tell me this time and time again. They've learned from me. When the calf tightens or cramps up, just pull your foot back and place your hands on the wall. You probably know this exercise already. If not, check out the YouTube videos we've published on it. The calf gets stretched. It becomes shorter in the front as it lengthens in the back. So the shin muscle tightens and becomes shorter during the stretch, and that can frequently lead to cramping in the front once you've stretched the calf. And if things go really badly, it cramps in the back and the front at the same time. And then there's only one thing that helps. Quickly stretch the back, shift into a heel sit position, and carefully stretch the shin, focusing specifically on the shin muscles. Then back into the calf, then the shin again 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Until the body realizes, aha, there is relief on both sides here, and that's how you can train yourself out of it.
That's how you can naturally make sure it doesn't happen at all, right? So if you follow the 3 tips before you go to bed, you'll most likely be able to say goodbye to calf cramps. For the majority of the time, if not almost entirely.
Yeah, those calf cramps can happen to anyone, but now you know what you can do about it. And definitely recommend the video. People will thank you for getting out of that situation.